Hey guys, maybe so here bringing you another weekly earnings report from my trading portfolio. Right now, we're in the middle of earnings season in October 2020. We just finished the second week. Next week's going to be even bigger, but we did really well. We put on a lot of trades. One thing that I'm going to change with these weekly summaries, I'm only going to cover the highlights. If you want to see every trade that I made, you can watch live or you can join our Discord server where I lay them all out and keep an archive of all the trades that I made. The link to the Discord server is down below. Let's get right into this. All right, so here's the calendar of last week and all the big companies that we would normally trade and which days they released earnings. The way we set up our earnings week is that we put on trades on Monday for the companies that release earnings after hours on Monday and before the market on Tuesday. Then you repeat that every day. Tuesday is for Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning, et cetera, et cetera. So looking at our trades on Monday, we went with IBM and Philip Morris. That's all there was to do on that day. None of the other stocks listed here had either high enough volatility or high enough liquidity or a combination of both to make a trade make any sense. As the week moved on, we increased our earnings trades per day. On Tuesday, we did Netflix, Texas Instruments, Abbott Labs, Verizon, and Teradyne. That's a total of 5. Moving on to Wednesday, we did Chipotle, Tesla, and Coca-Cola. Finally, on Friday, we did American Express, Capital One Financial, and Intel. Pretty busy week, but like I said, next week's going to be even busier. So let's get into the results. But before we do, I want to talk a second about my strategy when I approach earnings. I like to use a diverse spread of strategies on my trades. I like to use iron condors because you have high volatility, so you can collect enough credit. But with the volatility contraction that happens after the earnings report, you can still make a decent amount of money and you don't need the unlimited risk of a strangle. On low price stocks, I will use strangles. You'll see that from time to time. I also like to mix in put and call ratio spreads. The reason for this is they are extremely high probability trades, even if the profit that you can make from them isn't as high as some other trades. Example, if you put on a put ratio spread like we did in Coca-Cola, we only collected 8 cents credit. We wound up making that full 8 cents credit, which is a small profit. But had Coca-Cola gone down a small amount, we could have made a large amount. And that's why I like them. That trade in particular was about an 88% chance of profitability. Another example of a ratio spread is Intel. That one we collected a much higher credit, 76 cents. The trade was closer to at the money, and that's why. But because it went down, we collected the full amount of the credit. Had it stayed the same, we would have collected the full amount of the credit. The only risk was to the upside. Again, a very high probability of profit trade. And this is one other thing I like to do with earnings trades. I like to pick direction if I've got a strong feeling about a stock. In general, I'm very bearish on Intel. So playing their earnings to the downside was what I thought was the right thing to do. And it turned out that it was. I'll also mix in ratios into my strangles and iron condors from time to time. In the case of Verizon, we did exactly that. We sold more puts than calls, so you could call it a ratio strangle or an unbalanced strangle. So getting back to the results, we have 2 trades that actually haven't closed yet. IBM turned into a little bit of a mess, and we wound up rolling that to a new position in the next expiration cycle. We don't generally like to do that with earnings trades. We like to close them out so we can keep a clean record of accounting for all of them. But in the case of IBM, it made sense. So we'll give an update on IBM later. The other one is Teradyne. Teradyne doesn't have super high liquidity. And so while it is a winning trade right now, we haven't taken it off because we haven't been able to get it to close at a reasonable price. And we'll be doing that in the very near future. But it is a winning trade as of right now. So these results are a little bit understated. Other than that, the only loser that we had was Philip Morris. We didn't think it was going to go down, and it did. That happens sometimes. Everything else we've been able to take off for a profit, some of them considerably large. We had a put ratio spread in Netflix, and it came down right near our short strikes, so that was really profitable. A lot of our iron condors had extreme volatility contractions that helped us make quick profits within 24 hours. Most of our trades we take off right at the open the very next day. Some of them we leave resting orders in and will close throughout the day. But all of them, like I said, except for Philip Morris and the 2 that haven't closed yet, were all profitable. So you can see here in the top right corner, our total profit per one lot is $4.17. For those of you new at options, a reminder that options trade in lots of 100 shares. So that translates to $417 per contract. The great thing about options is that you could take my strategies and scale them up. If you sold 10 contracts for each of these positions, you'd make 10 times the amount of money. The strategies stay the same, the profit increases. Okay, now let's look ahead at next week. I said it was going to be busier, and I meant it. We have Twilio, Alphabet, which is Google, Pfizer, 3M, Eli Lilly, Raytheon, Microsoft, AMD, FireEye, UPS, Boeing, General Electric, Fastly, Pinterest, Etsy. You get the idea. Look at this chart. It's a really busy week. Some of these stocks we already have positions on. We might have to take those off and put on new ones for earnings. If you want to follow along with all of my earnings trades, watch me Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I stream for multiple hours with my real account, twitch.tv/maybeso. Like I said, there'll be a link to the Discord, and you can follow along with all of my trades that will be in there. If you'd like this video, I'd really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. Thank you very much. I hope to see you live in my streams.